Hi, Dr. Mark here for Natural Health. Hope you're having a great day. Great day. Tonight we're talking about Health 101 for kids as we're continuing on our back to school theme for August. And so we're going through some general, since it's Health 101, it's pretty general information that we're going to give tonight. It really works for everybody. We actually seen several patients today who were dehydrated, have a lot of symptoms. So we'll jump right into it. Of course, I'm Dr. Mark. We've been in practice now for over 40 years, different peoples with lots of different problems. And, we've survived those 40 years, so hoping to have it. So anyway, we'll jump into recommended water intake. So everybody knows they should be drinking water, but nobody really knows how much or what kind. And they think you can just drink it out of the tap, that's close enough. Well, not really. So we'll talk some about that. So the basic, what I try to get everybody to look at is at least half of your body weight in ounces per day. Now they have the numbers on the side, that's your multiplying factor, we're going to show you in a minute. But it gives you an idea of the sedentary, no sports or training is just half of your body weight in ounces. Or if you do more things, you should be drinking a lot more water. Even like heavy training, your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're, say, a 200-pound person, that's a lot of ounces of water a day. So there's a trick though with it, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, that you have to have with the water to really be hydrated. And so for kids, when they're sitting in school all day, of course, nobody wants them to have to get up and go to the bathroom all the time. So they don't really push water very much on kids. There's a water fountain there, but it's just the city water. So a lot of desirable things need to be done there. And even years gone by, when I was in high school, they actually had salt pills next to the water fountain for kids to take because we get dehydrated, get feeling weak and tired. And even leg cramps, muscle spasms are a sign of dehydration. And see, and dehydration is such a simple thing to work on, but it has a lot of symptoms that go along with it. I mean, even if your blood gets thickened, I mean, it can allow for strokes, and that's what heat stroke basically is in a way. You can have kidney problems, bladder irritation, even to work into bladder infections, again, muscle spasm, leg cramps, all kind of problems that come and symptoms that come from dehydration, where many people even think that's what it is, and pretty soon you're doing all kind of other medical treatments. So anyway, really simple thing that you should kind of take care of on your own, at least know about. So recommended water intake. So they multiply the weight by the appropriate needs factor to arrive at the recommended water intake in ounces, which is basically, if you're 120 pounds, you're supposed to be at a 0.6. That's 72 ounces per day. It's real simple. I usually try to get people to do at least half the body weight. That's real easy to calculate, and they can do at least half. That gets them started, because many people aren't doing hardly any. They might think they're drinking 3 bottles of water a day. I think that's enough. It's not even close. Then if you're drinking coffee in the morning, any caffeine sodas, any alcohol, those things are all dehydrating. So it lends people towards all kind of problems. If people would be hydrated, they wouldn't probably have to take all the blood thinners people are on, all the medications for that, because they just would have blood that's working good, but they don't even think about it. And the other thing we're going to talk about here too. So they have recommended drinking 8 to 12 glasses a day. That's another way of looking at it. But what size glasses? 7-ounce glasses or 28-ounce glasses? So I think this is better anyway. But this gives you an idea that you should be drinking a lot of water. We also try to recommend that patients drink their water in the morning, so they're not trying to catch up at night. If they're supposed to have half of their body weight in ounces per day, have those 72 ounces, well, don't wait till after supper to get those in, because then you'll be up all night in the bathroom. And that's works for kids too. They should be drinking water throughout the day. That keeps them able to think, keeps their head clear, keeps even their muscles and things working good. So water is just a really important, and fluid intake, and we're really trying to get away from the sugar. So even like fruit drinks and things that have lots of sugar in them, that's not really hydration. We're talking about good quality water. And so before I get into the other part of this, good quality water is really spring water, That's probably your best. Now, some people that have city water, that's the only thing they have, they do is reverse osmosis. That's pretty good too. Distilled water is okay for a short time for detox, but shouldn't be drank over long periods of time. There's other kinds of water, but you really want to stay away from the chlorine and especially the fluorine in treated water. So that's the problem. Chlorine is great to help disinfect the water as it travels through all the pipes and all the things, but then you should take it out when you get home and use different kinds of filters you can use on the house. There's whole house filters that you can use to filter out the water, at least make it halfway decent from the city water system. The Berkey water filters are a really good way of doing that too, to help get water cleaned out from any like metals and all of the chemicals and pollutants that are in water. Like in this area, water comes from the river, so you can imagine what's in there to start with. Yes, they take out a lot, filter a lot, but if you ever, we did distilled water for a time, and you would take distilled water from the tap, which came from the river, and by the time you ran a few things through there, you'd have like mud in the bottom of that distiller. And so they get rid of a lot, but there's a lot in there yet. It's not, that's not what you're really wanting as a water source. So spring water is about the best because spring water has a lot of minerals in it, and the good minerals are what the body needs too to help with electrolytes. Now, another way of doing that is sea salt. Why is sea salt good for you? The one thing we need to clear up as kind of as a myth, folk myth, is that the premise, and the medical people do this all the time, they're still into it big time, but the premise that salt leads to hypertension has never been scientifically supported. Now, I would have to agree if you're eating a lot of processed foods that have a lot of refined salt, you can have the higher blood pressure issues, but is it coming from the salt or is it coming from the sugars and all the junk and other junk that's in there, MSG and all that other stuff? So again, there's never been a study proving it. It's just from the salt. But anyway, we try to keep people away from refined salt and try to work them towards sea salt or a mineral salt like the pink Himalayan salt. So one of the main things that aids blood sugar control by improving insulin sensitivity, and that's something people don't even think about at all. Sea salt is good for you because it's a natural antihistamine. Again, getting the body to clear all the lymphatics out so you're not dripping through your sinuses and eyes and stuff. You're keeping that cleaned out. If you keep the lymphatic fluids viscous, that will help clean it out. And that's like for kids too who have problems with asthma and allergies and all that kind of stuff. If you keep the body hydrated and keep the kidneys and things cleaning all that out, that's just a big detox, a simple way of helping to do detox. Your body needs salt to maintain the proper stomach pH, and that goes for really the whole body. We talk about stomach pH here because stomach pH has a lot to do with digestion, of course, and if you don't have a good, strong, acidic stomach acid, you won't digest and absorb good minerals like calcium and iron. Two big minerals that they have these women taking lots of iron, but no stomach acid. So all it does is make them constipated. Or men guys too, as far as that goes. Anybody that takes iron supplements. So you have to know how to work it. You have to know that your body needs to help with digestion as much as it needs help with the actual nutrient there. It improves sleep quality. Adequate salt consumption encourages a healthy weight and fast metabolism. Again, by keeping the body hydrated so the body can keep its fluids and things working right. All the important pH factors that go along with that. So salt supports thyroid function with the iodine in a mineral salt or a sea salt, and supports the osmolarity of extracellular fluids, and keeping the fluids viscous so the body can do all its chemical reactions and all the things it has to do all the time, and have the fluids and things to clean out, detox, and keep nutrients into where it needs to go. Adequate salt supports balanced hormones, aids in the satiety factor to foods. In other words, it helps you to feel full after you've eaten some. And good quality food is important for that, but you have to be able to digest it. That's the other trick there. So what salt is best? Then we talked about that being sea salt. We like the Celtic sea salt. There's a lot of games out there in the salt world. Morton and Hahn, they take all the minerals out, call it sea salt. Well, it was sea salt, but they take the minerals out. Your sea salt should look dirty. If you're getting a good quality sea salt, it should look almost, dark in there, kind of dirty looking. That's the minerals. And if you get pink Himalayan salt, that's the minerals. The pink is the mineral set. Just different mineral sets that make it look different. So we like to have patients do a quantity of the Celtic sea salt. After they get done with that, then a quantity of the pink Himalayan salt. Kind of keep the minerals moving around differently there. And then again, how much salt should I eat? Well, for adults, a little teaspoon is about right, somewhere in there. And then for the kids, it'd be half that, depending on their weight and things like that. So again, sea salt is so good for things, a really important part of health in general. It's not ever talked about. So before I go to Dr. Chip, also, as we're talking about what health 101 for kids, I like to have people think just about common sense things for the kids' diets. So does it make sense to have kids eat a lot of processed foods? Does it make sense, common sense, to have kids eat a lot of processed sugary cereals in the morning and then cow's milk on that's been pasteurized and homogenized and just basically a dead thing? No, there's just no common sense in that. Kids should have good foods in the morning. I try to get people to have proteins in the morning because that way it keeps your blood sugar more level throughout the day. Kids that are eating a lot of sugary stuff, and again, you have to look at what makes sense and is actually true. Don't go by what the school tells you because these schools are following the USDA food pyramid, which is bought and paid for by these cereal manufacturers and food processors. So if you want your child to be healthy, if you want your child to learn well in school, you really need to look at, again, common sense of what a body needs to be well. It should be whole foods. You should be eating whole foods. And that's about it, really. We don't need all this stuff. But even the schools will just give kids stuff that they'll eat, like donuts and stuff like that, cookies and all that junk. Then they wonder why they can't sit in their chairs all day. They wonder why they're not absorbing the information. They wonder why they're cranky and won't get their homework done. And it's because they're not eating well. So again, common sense things, especially when the child is at home, you should be getting good meals. And again, I know people are working a lot, but what's the priority? Are the kids the priority, or is the work the priority? So kids' health should be the priority. So good home-cooked meals are important, not just pizza all the time, or McDonald's, or all that junk. So I better quit before I get myself in too much more trouble. I'll turn this over to Dr. Chip. He has a lot of good more information, especially on the nervous system side. So everybody have a great day, have fun at school. And then also don't forget that we have our on our website, naturalhealthquincy.com, our videos that explain more about what we do here with nutrition response testing and some of the ways we figure out what kids need nutritionally, or our patients, I should say, kids and adults. And then also there's a way of getting a free consultation to find out, what can we do to help if people or kids are having problems in school, or people are having problems learning or even thinking correctly. So we're here to help with that. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Chip. Have a great evening. We'll see you next week.
Okay. So again, Health 101 for kids. We're going to keep it pretty short, pretty simple, because again, 101. So let's go ahead. We'll continue here. So again, hydration-wise, is that Dr. Mark explained there too, is that again, it's very important to stay hydrated, to drink plenty of water. Sea salt, again, that's kind of more the electrolytes there too. So again, minerals, vitamins, well, I say minerals, is the electrolytes. The electrolytes, again, being more of the, you'd say the messengers or things that can communicate well with the nerves in the body. And so our nervous system, again, needs that salt or the sodium, sodium chloride, all those different minerals that helps it to actually transfer data from the nerves there too. And so again, it's very beneficial for all that too. Again, the human body is around 70% water. So again, it's kind of a basic understanding to drink plenty of water throughout the day. And then water helps bodily functions. When in doubt, make sure to drink plenty of water. So a lot of times too is that we want to kind of figure out what's all going on. We have all these different issues, but there's a lot of health, you would say, issues or problems that can be helped with just, again, good hydration. And so again, like we said, is that water, again, if our body is around 70% water, then the cells making up our body are mainly water there too. So you want to make sure to hydrate the cells, everything's doing well, because the cells are the ones that are doing all the work for all the tissues, organs, glands, everything in the body there too. And then, so again, we talk about hydration. Now exercise, again, the blood is around 80% water. And of course the blood is the fuel or the food for the cells. So that when we exercise, when we're moving our bodies, we promote good blood flow. And so that gets to all the joints, all the ligaments, the tissues, and making sure that everything's doing well. And so again, our bodies are made to move. We're supposed to move it's kind of a locomotive thing where, again, the body has plenty of these joints, these muscles that all pull in a certain way so that we're able to walk well, crawl, anything like that. We're supposed to be doing that so that our body can actually, you would say, promote good circulation, good blood flow. And so again, good for joint health and mobility. And again, just like anything, it's very common sense, very, again, 101 basics here, is that we should be at least moving our bodies, daily. And that walking, again, very underrated, but we want to make sure is that walking, again, is a very natural movement for our bodies. Now, everybody else has different little things that they want to do. Again, if your kids like, playing different sports or, walking with you, go on hikes or anything like that, in the jungle gym, all that too, it's very good for their bodies to move. And not only is that good for, again, circulation, everything there too, but we'll talk too, is that when we are, you would say, like, everybody has tendencies to, maybe get a little anxious about things or excited or different things like that. And when our body is moving, or I'd say when our thoughts are going, when our mind's going, then we get our body moving, then they're in sync. So our brain and body are kind of in sync. But if our brain is really going and our body is not moving, then that can cause some issues. So just like Dr. Mark explained there too, is that when we have certain foods that spike our blood sugar up, then you would say the mind starts going quicker, but say the kid is sitting at the desk, not moving. And so again, just like anybody that wants to do anything or has a lot of thoughts going on, they want to work. Again, even adults, you want to work a lot, you want to move a lot. And so that, again, is kind of that brain and body being in sync. So again, most of the time we want to make sure that we're at a very calm state with our mind so that our bodies can actually stay calm and at ease there too. And so again, exercise or recreation. Again, walking, of course, always a good move there. Fun activities, again, be creative. That's what recreation, again, is really doing for us. It's actually recreating different habits for ourselves. And so when we're playing a game or sports, no game is the same. Again, we're always actually helping our bodies to move in different ways. That promotes different muscles to actually activate, to do things like that. So that promotes, again, good health. And so you would say is that a lot of times we kind of forget that our brain and body is very well connected. So just because it's kind of like when you touch your hand or when you have a sense of touch, you only feel that because the brain is picking that up. And so that's a good understanding, is that the brain and the body are inversely connected, or not inversely, but very well connected. And so that when we're doing these different activities, when we're recreating, then we're actually helping good brain structure. The brain is said to be very plastic, or plasticity. And so when we're doing the same thing over and over again, our brain actually starts to, or doesn't actually make neural grooves for new learning and new environments. And so when we're doing these different things, such as, again, fun activities, we're recreating our different habits or our different routines, we're actually able to help our brains function well. So again, that promotes good focus, concentration, memory. Again, that's good for the kids there too. And so again, the body and brain being well in balance. So just like we said before, is that sometimes when kids are feeling, anxious or worried or different things like that, they want to, again, promote a good, safe place. But then too is that we want to make sure that we're being good models for them too. So the kids will kind of pick up what's going on in their environment because that's kind of how they're wired at the beginning there too. And so if somebody, you'd say a role model or a parent or anything like that, if they're, you would say, overly worried or anxious or you would say frustrated or anything like that, the kid's kind of seeing what's going on in the environment there too. So again, just being able to regulate our own selves, either as parents or guardians or anything like that, being able to have a good regulated state is helpful for the kids as well. And again, that shows them that they can actually do that themselves when in that kind of circumstance there too. And then again, balance is always good, of course, is that when we, of course, as adults, we need to work, we need to have careers and jobs and all that, but we also need to be able to enjoy different things there too. And everybody's different in that aspect. So some kids love to read, and that reading should be their outlet. Some kids love to play outside. That should be a good outlet. But I would say in general, all the kids should at least get outside, get some good sunshine, some good fresh air. But again, all the kids are different in their own ways there too. So it's good to kind of see what they're good at and what they can excel in. Yeah. And again, we kind of say brain and body, but of course too is that the kids learn differently. And so it's very healthy for them to learn in their own ways there too. And so some kids or some people are very auditory. They like to listen to different things. Some kids like to see or visualize what's going on. And then some actually need to do the activity, to do what they're being told. And so then again, you can actually use those as a combination, but those are just different ways that kids learn or even adults learn. And so that's, again, just something to keep in mind. So I guess that wraps it up for tonight. Again, short and sweet. Again, Health 101, so we got to keep it simple here. And typically when it comes to health and well-being, keeping it simple is the main thing. Sometimes it's not always easy, but simple. And so again, Natural Health Quincy IL is where you can follow us here at Facebook, YouTube, variety on Instagram. You can subscribe to our email list at naturalhealthquincy.com, and the number is 217-228-2040. We're located at 2000 Jefferson Street in Quincy, Illinois. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned more and more, or at least just kind of remembered about what to do, again, for the kids. Again, like Dr. Mark there said, kind of more that priority about really when we come down, when we think about it, what we can do ourselves for the future generations coming up. So again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time.